I didn't know how to help him at that time because I just moved here. All I could do was listen to him and try to make him feel better. But there might have been something more I could have done. I might have been lazy in thinking about what I could do. But at that time, in 1982, I thought I was his friend. Ah, ah. Whoa! You can't throw an event CG like that at me. Rena's self-derisive laughter changed into grievous sobs. Her tears gradually wore away at our relationship of trust. Nobody will help me. Friends are just people whom you have fun with. You can't trust them. The more Rena cried, the clearer we heard her voice in her heart. Mion, Satsuko, and Rika-chan looked into the distance with sad expressions on their faces. I was the only one who could say anything back to her now. I had to tell her this. And she knew it too. She just needed to hear it from someone. I braced myself to tell her something that might hurt everybody. I understand, Rena. I understand what happened in 1982. I understand that they were heartless. But Satsuko also told you this. They realized their sins. They regretted what they did and didn't do. So it should be different this time. They can understand your pain, and they can help you. You weren't here last year. I'm afraid you don't know what you're talking about. That's right. I wasn't here last year. I wish I were. If I was here last year, I would have fought for Satsuki. You're lying. I'm not lying. I've learned how important friends are since I've moved to Unimizawa. I'll fight for my friends. If I was here last year and knew what Satsuko's aunt did to her and Satsuki, I wouldn't have given Satsuki the opportunity to beat her to death. I would have done it myself. I would have done it in 1500 seconds. I wouldn't have even hesitated. I would have beaten her to death with a metal bat. That's easy for you to say, but you don't know the kind of determination you need to kill another person. I don't know that, and I don't need to know that either. You know why? Because it's an obligation to help your friends. You don't understand, Keiichi-kun. You don't know how disgusting it is to kill a person. You can never get rid of the dirt on your hands, no matter how hard you try to justify it. You're right. Killing a person in order to save your friends is such a short-sighted way of thinking. It might sound like I'm contradicting myself, but I think things aren't meant to go well when you take care of an evil matter by doing an evil deed. I'm proud of my conviction that I wouldn't hesitate to kill a person for the sake of my friends. But the peace I get by doing an evil deed won't last forever. We all know that by instinct. That's why we all despise evil things, I think. What? I have no idea what you're talking about. She didn't have to tell me that. I was aware I wasn't making any sense. But, for some reason, I could easily imagine a world like that. A world in which I saved my precious friends by committing an evil act. The peace I seized by doing that evil deed didn't last long. It got worse. It ended in a way as terrible as the sins I committed. This was a memory that shouldn't exist. I don't know why, but I know for a fact that it happened in that world of possibility. I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. For some reason, I couldn't prevent myself from smiling in embarrassment, even in a situation like this. But you know it too, don't you, Rena? You know that you didn't want to get your hands dirty. You're crying because you wanted us to help you, but we didn't. You didn't want to be a murderer. You're lying when you claim that this was the best choice you could have made. That's why you've been crying. That's not true. It's 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 not true. You know better than anybody if it's true or not. You've been regretting this from the beginning. Even if you were able to hide the corpses without getting caught, you could never have washed the blood off your hands. How are you going to fool yourself into believing you won't have to live the rest of your life bearing the burden of your sin? There's only one way to do that. You have to believe that this was the only choice. That means you have to live your life denying your friends and denying that your friends are worth asking for help. Are we worth nothing to you, Rena? Of course not. You always believed that friends exist to help each other. Your friends were immature last year. That's why they couldn't help Satsuki from his unfortunate fate. But people grow up. We don't make the same mistake twice. We don't want to regret the same thing twice. So, believe me, we're your friends. We're on your side. So what you're saying is that I was immature too, right? Yeah, I am. You were immature because you couldn't believe that your friends grew up. But I'm not going to blame you for that. We didn't notice until today that you've been going through such a hard time all alone. People can communicate through their feelings only by talking to others. So there was nothing we could do, because we didn't talk. In that sense, it's hard to say it, but we have to admit that this was meant to happen today, in order to make your choice the best one for real. We finally talked about our feelings. We now know that you've been distrusting your friends since last year, and that everybody regretted both what they did and didn't do. So now, we finally became true friends. Finally? But it's too late. We only notice our sins after it's too late. That's not necessarily true. For example, as your friend, I can understand the things you've done, this time. What do you mean by that? I understand that depriving people of their lives is an unforgivable crime. But I also understand that my friend, Rena, had no other choice but to do this. So, I don't think you're filthy, and I'm not scared of you. If something like this happens again, we should talk and think about what we can do together. But this already happened, and I understand that. When I say I understand, I mean I forgive you. I don't hate you for what you did. I said that to everybody this time. I said it to all my friends. I accept what Rena did. I accept that she had no choice other than to do this, and that this was her last resort after thinking it through many times. So, I'm going to side with her. Kei-chan. Of course, if she killed them for money or some other stupid reason, I'd drag her to the police. But that wasn't why Rena did this. She couldn't run away, and she thought it through before she came to this point. If she's guilty of anything, she's only guilty for not talking to us about it beforehand. But I forgive her for that too. I forgive her for coming to this point. Keiichi. So, I beg you all, please forgive me for not noticing Rena's situation, and for letting her go through it alone. My sin is that I allowed a day like today to come to pass. Keiichi-san. We're the only ones who know about these bags. If we keep it to ourselves, everything will be fine. Rena doesn't have to worry about a thing. Let's hide them somewhere like she planned. We'll cleanse ourselves with salt later, and that's it. Let's forgive each other for our sins, and then we'll regain our happy and peaceful days. This is it, right? Rena, this is the future you chose, right? This is the best possible choice, right? Keiichi-kun. I jumped on the hood of the abandoned car Rena was standing on, and I reached for her hands. Admit it! This is the world you wanted. This is the choice you wanted to make. But this is something that you can't choose by yourself. All of us have to reach for each other's hands, so that Rena can make the choice. In other words, I can't make it happen by myself. I need everybody to reach for each other's hands. So Rena, you need to do it too. When all of us hold hands together, that's when you can go to the world that exists beyond the choice you made. Keiichi-kun, I appreciate it, if you really mean it, but I'm not sure if that's what everybody else wants. A little hand touched mine. It was Rika-chan. Rika-chan! Rena, you aren't filthy. You didn't give up. You seized your fate, even though you had to dirty your hands to do it. I have no reason not to accept you. Rika-chan's small hand was strong, and she spoke eloquently. I know how comfortable it feels to be stained by disappointment at everything in this world, after getting lost in a maze of misfortune. That's why I can understand how strong you are, and how hard you fought, alone, without giving up. I'm proud of having you in my life. I agree with Keiichi. I forgive you for your sin. So please forgive me for mine too. Rika-chan, I'm just a little girl without any power, but I could have fought. I'll not give up on my fate. I'll fight like you did. So I ask you to accept me as your friend. Rika-chan usually acts childish, but now she was like a totally different person. She meant every word she was saying. And then another little hand reached out to ours. Satsuko. Satsuko put her hand over mine and Rika-chan's. She didn't say anything, looking down for a while. Rika-chan urged her to speak. Rika and I lost both our parents. We never cried about it, however, because we have you, a family, made of friends. I want us to continue being to be a family for you. It's natural to get it all out and to confess everything to your family because, well, they are your family. So I think today was a great opportunity for us. I appreciate that we had the chance to forgive each other for our sins. A family made of friends. Satsuko, I like that. I forgive you for your sin, Rena-san. Please forgive me for mine too. A big hand reached out for ours. It was Mion's. I always thought it was my job as the leader of this club to talk about the importance of friends. So, I guess I'm not that good a leader after all, huh? Mion. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make fun of you. Mion still smiled and scratched her head. Rena, I'm ashamed of myself, as your friend and as the club president, for not being able to notice what you've been through. I'd like you to forgive me for that. Of course, I also forgive you for not telling us about it. You couldn't tell me because I wasn't good enough for you. I thought I was trying to be a good leader for you, but I guess I wasn't doing my job. It's my fault. So I forgive you for your sin, Rena. Rena, now you have all of our hands. We're all ready for you. It's your turn. Reach out for us. Come to us. This is the world you wanted. You have all of our hands right here for you to reach. So, don't hesitate. I'm a murderer. I'll get you guys into trouble. Rena, we are. Rika-chan, you don't need to say anything. We're all reaching for your hand. What else do we need to say or prove? Rena, you don't need to say anything. All you need to do is reach out for us. Come on, Rena. This is real. It's not too late. You still have choices you can make. So choose. You can still make it. Come on. It's not too late to start over again. Rena slowly reached out, and her hand touched ours. She didn't hold our hands. All she needed to do was touch our hands to show us her will. Rena chose to live, to share her life with her friends, rather than to refuse them for the rest of her life. I took a step closer to her and firmly grabbed her wrist. It was getting dark, and some stars had appeared in the sky. We all forgave each other for our sins for the first time. And it was a little embarrassing, but Rena's tears made us all cry. We just kept crying together. We stood in a circle, holding each other by the shoulder and putting our heads together in the middle. We're a family made of friends. We forgave each other, and we're happy together.